I'm Sharon from Shaz Bears, and I'm going to give you a few little tips that I use along the way for making my bears. Everyone makes bears differently. These are just my little ideas how I get my little faces to look like that. This is where I make all the bears in Melbourne, Australia. I have it all set up. I love shabby chic, which you can see, and all my dresses and all the computer is in my little office. To start with, when you make the bear, we cut out the pieces, sew them up. One little tip I want to say, and I get a lot of questions about this, is how I get the turned up noses. What I do is I make the gusset longer, and actually it will fit higher up on the head. Don't try and squash it in. So this piece of the gusset will not actually fit into this piece. It actually sits higher on the head. And a lot of people email me and say that the bear doesn't actually fit together, but it does. And when you do, you get a little dip in the nose, which when you stuff makes a cute little nose like this. I use a Dacron, which is an industrial Dacron they use for furnishing. It's fantastic, and I buy it in huge amounts, and I find it's just so good to work with. Another tip is when I do the head, I get the washer. I put a washer at the bottom. I put one on top and a disc. Put it into the head, quite close to the nose, not too far back. I have a tip that you put the betel pin in line with the gusset, and then you sew that all up together. We'll do the eyes next. The eyes, I use a nylon thread. A lot of people use wax thread. I find this nylon thread fantastic. You can buy it through me, or you can buy it on the internet. You thread the eye through a big doll's needle. All my eyes are placed quite low on the nose, just inside the seam, and I come out like that. The other one's done identically the same, and both ends are tied in a knot quite firmly to give the eye placement. The next is the nose. I use DMC cotton, quite thin. I trim all my gussets quite closely around. I'll just tidy that up. I always start my nose right on the seam, which is, a lot of people start lower, but I start mine here. I don't use a knot. I come up, cut off the end so they're equal. I go back into the same spot for the first time. Then each time you come up and go around, and then up, and then around. This takes a long time, and you keep going from side to side to side, then over the top, eventually having a cute little nose like that. Everyone has different noses. That's just my technique. The next thing is I always put my head on last to the body, so I do my whole head work first. We do the ears. I put stuffing in my ears and I sew them up. I leave the cotton hanging at the bottom. I hold the ear with my 2 fingers. I get a large needle and put it straight through the ear so that you've got your placement. You go into the corner of the ear and come up into the head, not touching the other part of the ear. Back down into the ear, touching the lower part of the head. That attaches the ear. The next part, you come out the back of the head. This is done very roughly, out the back, and you slip stitch, catching a bit of the ear and a bit of the head at the same time, and eventually you have cute little ears. He looks a bit strange at the moment, but that's the idea. Another really important thing that I've loved and I've always put in my bears is steel and garnet. Garnet's a crushed rock. I put it in the feet to make them stand up. It's great to use a little piping bag, metal or plastic contraption there. Put it into the feet, grab a bit of the stuffing and compact that garnet with the stuffing, and you actually get a beautiful, smooth, soft foot which will stand up on its own. The rest of the bear making is just normally joining the bears together with the pins or the screws. I love to dress my bears. You can leave them plain. I don't actually have the dress patterns in my patterns because they're very special to me, and I have dressmakers help me, but you can make simple little bear patterns or put lace around the shoulders or some flowers and make your bears look cute. But thank you very much. If you have any problems, email me at shazbears and thank you very much.